as our family grew, with more kids. I think we only had two at the time when we first moved out here, and they were going to start school. I had to make a decision to work more locally, which did mean I had to take a pay cut, but it was less time on the road, more time with my family. So family has always been first for both of us. And so, which led me to working at an assisted living community, like 5 minutes from my home, with the pay cut. So for the last 10 years, I've been doing that, and I loved it. It was new for me. I thought it sounded the same as working at a hotel, renting out rooms like that. But you really build a relationship with these residents that come in, and you're really helping them in their golden years to like live life and be happy, because assisted living is like a cruise ship on land. All their entertainment, their meals, everything is provided for them there. So it was a hard decision to leave there, but I've learned a lot from the residents. We have retired teachers there, so when my kids, I'm like, I don't know, all my other kids, they picked up reading so fast. How do I do this and how do I do that? Or even like how to travel. I had a resident that had 7 kids, and she told me how her and her husband would go on trips, and she's like, you have to just bring the milk and cereal in the car, forget the fast food, like how to travel on a budget with kids, and making those sandwiches. So I learned a lot from working there, but it's now a time to kind of change things up for my family, especially now with COVID and everything, that more different lifestyle has to take place now because of distance learning and all of that. So we have to stay on our toes, right? We have to be ready to move and be ready when opportunities come up to just take it. If you sit too long on it, that door's going to close. So that's kind of what brought me to now transition and fire my boss, but in a loving way. It's like I'll still visit, I'm sure, but it was truly in a loving way. But this is more a benefit for my family and the new lifestyle with everything that's going on today.
Wow, that's really good. That's really good.
It's a big benefit for you too. I mean, to make that step into doing something for yourself, because it's also doing something for you too. You enriched, you worked hard for where you are to be able to fire your boss. So talk about that experience a little bit, about how that was for you.
So it was nerve-wracking. What I'm doing now is a financial coach. So my mentor, we talk about what would December 31st of 2020 look like for you. So we kind of just went through what needs to be done to get to where I want to go, which is to spend more time with my family, not be able to ask somebody else if I can go on vacation with my family, or ask somebody else, can I go to my daughter's recital? You know what I mean? Like it's really about wanting to be here for my kids. Another lesson from my residents was it's going to go so fast. They grow up in a blink of an eye, and you don't want to miss a beat. So one thing meeting Eric and Linda is that 10 years ago when I met Linda, I heard her story. And I was like, man, this lady is amazing. Everything that she did, she was working and an entrepreneur and everything, a nonprofit. And so my husband and I were like, how can we do that? How can we start our own business and make it work for our family and our schedule? Because with 5 kids and commuting, it was like basketball, baseball, track, like everything was happening. There's really no time or money to start a business. So Eric and Linda knows I've been picking and asking questions and doing all kinds of stuff of, like, how do you get the funds, or how do you even know what you want to do and open? So all of those things have now, those years of brainstorming and everything, kind of just the timing was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of adopted you as like my little sister. Like I had to look out for you. When I first met you too, I was like, oh, I just love her. She's so cute. And I'm going to adopt her as my little sister. I never really told you that, but now
It's live.
It's live, and you are like a little sister to me, and I really am your biggest cheerleader too. Like I want to see you succeed, and you are, and making these big steps. It's like I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even passing by, when I saw Workvine coming up, my daughter was dancing right next door. So I would always peek in. If I see you guys, whether you were mopping and getting your stuff set up, you got new furniture in. I was like, what are you guys doing now? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You guys too.
Yeah, it's a long road. And it takes a lot of hard work, right? And and I know with 5 kids, working full time, taking care of your husband, tell the listeners how you did it. How did you become a financial coach? And during COVID, when the kids are all home, right? I mean, was a lot of opposition for you. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. So actually, my mentor, Irvin Samsu, he actually had approached me about 2 years ago about becoming a financial coach. But things were great at Brookdale. I wasn't looking to move. If anything, I was like, I don't know where I was going to go from there because I didn't want to leave Tracy for another job.
Yeah.
So I guess, again, with timing, I actually became a client first because I was looking to update my life insurance policy that I got in my 20s with my husband. When we started to have kids, we only had 2 at the time. So I wanted to upgrade it. So I had him take a look at it, and that's when I found out that I was just a writer on my husband's account. So what that means is if my husband passed away, my policy would have died right with him, and I would have no policy, and neither would my kids.
Wow.
So after 20 years of putting money into that, I was like, hold on, that's not what I want.
Right.
So now I do have what's called the true life insurance. So I'm able, if something happens to me and I survive, I'm covered through that insurance. If I pass away, then my family is covered as well. So, and it's even a lot more coverage than what I had before. So it's very important to know what you have or don't have anything to look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that feeling too. I was a writer on my husband's policy for a long time, life and health insurance and all that. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And so I had to um, get my own life policy. And, I wish I would have consulted in you because I would have had a better, I don't know, a better policy probably. But you know what? I may have to just reconsider and sign up.
Yeah.
So make an appointment with me.
That's the thing, though, is when Irvin told me about my policy, I'm like, what? And there's just so many things with just financial literacy that even though I graduated high school, graduated college, there wasn't an assembly to tell us about financial literacy like they do with other topics. There wasn't like a workshop or anything to really learn this. And so that's why, as I was learning through Irv as just my mentor, I started telling my friends about it and say, like, you need to talk to him. Oh, you have a question, talk to him. This is what you need to know. You have kids, like you need protection, those type of things. And he was like, why don't you just work with me? Because it's exciting. It's exciting for myself, as a family. This is stuff we want to learn anyway. But then to give it back to the community, to my family, because even in my training, I've heard of other family members that you would think should know all of this, but nobody taught them either. So we're all kind of just walking blindly, where I thought retirement came from a 401k and Social Security. But there might not be Social Security when I come to retire, right? So we gotta know how to be prepared.
Especially in these times right now. I mean, how much more so do you need to be prepared financially and, with life policies and everything like that, because you want your ducks in a row. You want to, you do all this for the people that you leave behind too, right? And so making sure that your kids are taken care of and your husband or your spouse,
Yeah.
can survive in the event that you're not no longer with us. And so I just can't stress enough how imperative it is to get with a financial coach during this time. It's what else do you have to do? Most of you guys are in shelter in place anyway.
Yeah.
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 I know that you're having some type of training this evening. Do you want to share that with the listeners?
Yes. So this evening, tonight as well as next Thursday at 7 o'clock, it's a webinar, really just sharing my story and just the opportunity of the platform that I'm now doing with financial coaching, and how I'm really impacting one family one day at a time, just in financial literacy. It doesn't cost them anything, and it can make it can make or benefit families for generations to come, not just that one person or that one family. It's for generations. And just an example of what an impact our team is making is just meeting with families and educating them. There's 2 clients that I know of that my team has met with, where they've just met with them just to learn financial literacy and have already quit smoking. Like,
Wow.
even
Wow.
that by itself, for their family,
Yeah.
the years they've added to their life, the money they've saved on those cigarettes, and then to their children, because we know how bad secondhand smoke can be as well. But just in preparing um, to be healthy for their family. So those type of things, it's not just about money, but really impacting the lives of these families.
Yeah, and another thing too is that and what you're doing is you're helping yourself to become financially independent. Our
Yes.
goal for a lot of people are to pay off all those bills and be debt free. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's been on my goal forever. You know,
Let's
um,
talk.
um, do you talk about how to become debt free in your financial coaching?
We do. So the team that I work with here is with One A Day here in Tracy, the brokerage, but we hang our license with WFG, World Financial Group. But that's just the platform that we use to provide and have access to 100 or more different companies and services for our clients. So it's almost like, just like what is Uber or Lyft, they just the app that connects the person that needs a ride for someone, to give them a ride. So, in that way, it really has to do with listening to what the needs are of the client, and then connecting them with the services that will best fit them.
Wow.
That's powerful stuff.
I'm
That
so
is.
excited about what you're doing. I
Me
mean,
too.
it's adding so much value, even though, for Lynn and I, we've had policies, we've always had policy. But for those individuals who are looking for something to sustain their families, right? Not just financially, but physically, right? And we're talking about maybe 2, 3 generations down the road. This is wonderful. So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, or they wanted to find out more about this, how do they go about that? And then what does that process look like?
So my email address is Wyatt, WYATT. Oh, there you go. For love at gmail.com. And then also Instagram. I was telling Eric and Linda earlier, my kid says that Facebook is for old people. So I'm trying to get on Instagram here. So you could reach me on Instagram as well, or even on Facebook.
Yeah, that's really cool. The time that you took and the sacrifice that you made is paying off. And, for those people who are listening and people who are watching, that always had that ideal and had it on the shelf, you're like the example of you can do it, because you got, and I say this over and over, right? I don't know what it's like to have 5 kids, but I got 3. And so I just want to applaud you and your husband for, taking the sacrifice to do what you do, to help the people, to fire your boss gently, right? And I mean, this is just wonderful. It's wonderful.
And you're also doing this with your husband too. I mean, you don't do it by yourself. It's like a husband and wife team almost. Is that right?
That's right. And even before I decided that I wanted to become a financial coach, he was the one that I had to, he was almost devil's advocate. What about this? What about that? To really figure out, do I have the time for this? Even when I gave my notice to my boss, I called them right before and say, like, are we going to do this? Because we planned, you just don't wake up and say, I'm going to leave my job of 10 years. So we really had to slim down with our pay off credit cards and everything to the bare minimal to prepare for this time. So you really have to plan and prepare. But, even though I'm the one, and I call it zooming and booming in front of the camera, he's keeping the kids busy, or he's getting dinner ready, because there's nights where I'm not done till like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And so he's really been a big support, and, telling his friends and family too. And we've started out with those that we care about, because this is stuff, it's like, man, you got to know this. Like, if you don't know, call my wife, call me. So he's very much involved, even though he's not in front of the camera, but he is my support. And he's when I go to when I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's that person for me. So yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's good.
So
I
do
was
you,
going to say too, it's a lot about your mindset. Sometimes when Eric, you talk about 5 kids working a full-time job, but it was really a commitment that I had to make, as well as my husband, to be like, okay, I'm going to do this, and to schedule out my time and make time for it, because it was something that I wanted to do, not that like I need to do it when I have time. So you really have to change your mindset, switch up your schedule. My work switched up my schedule. So I'm like, okay, fine. If I have to come in later, then guess what? I'm going to meet with people in the morning. Like, you can't make up any excuses. You got to make it work. And when I was thinking about what am I going to talk about today, like, who am I? And to me, it's just like, I'm just a mom. But a mom is really somebody who just makes sure whatever your family needs, you just get it done. Like, you don't know how you're going to get there. We don't know yet, but we're going to get there,
yeah,
Got
that's
to work
good.
it out. One A Day is a great team that there's so much support there. Even though I'm in business for myself, I'm not by myself. There's just so many mentors, and any one of them you can call on to help you. So I think that's important too. When we talked about how can I start my own business, this was, as little as $100 to start it, and I'm able to meet and have access to so many resources with the
Nice.
team.
That's beautiful.
And you're continuing to learn and educate other people. So what you learn, you pay it forward and you teach other people. And you've only really been in this business for a few months, and you're already out there um, teaching people and showing people, and doing seminars and doing stuff like this.
Yes,
So
since February, I've been doing that, and you can't hold back what you know. You just want to share it because it's good stuff. You know what I mean? You can't just say, like, let me just hold this all to myself until I'm really, really ready. Like, let me tell you what I know now, and even if something comes up that I don't know, I could just take it back to my team and say, hey, I have someone that has this. Can you help me help her? So it's just really a good support system to help others.
I have a question. Now, how young do you start?
How
Yeah,
long?
for financial literacy. I mean, my kids are in their 20s, and I think they're still kind of learning some of that.
I mean, my youngest is 7. So my kids already know. I mean, they'll talk to me about, how come Papa's, X amount of years. I don't want to put it out there. But, like, shouldn't he be retired? Like, I never had those kind of conversations with my kids, and about saving money. And they're so into being entrepreneurs, or kidpreneurs, I think that you say too, where we're having those conversations. So I don't think there's like an age where you're like, okay, you're 9 now, so we're gonna have the conversation. It's just something that you should instill with them, from the beginning.
Yeah. As soon as they can talk, huh? As soon as they can walk, hey, this is $1. Don't go buy candy. Save it.
Yeah, well, my youngest one, I'm trying to wean him out of my bed, and I started saying like, it's gonna cost you to sleep in my bed, and so he actually slept in his room, and I said, son, what happened? And he said, oh, I wanted to keep my money. So okay,
Oh, that's a really
you have
good
to make
start.
your decisions, right? You can't just go out there and spend your money.
That's really good. That's
Yeah,
good.
that is good. That's a lot nicer. Eric used to push him out of our bed, like, and he would say, "Did I do that?" You'd hear this
Yeah.
big thump on the floor, and I'm like, "Dad, you pushed me." He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm sorry, I was sleeping," but I
That
know
must
he
be
was
your
doing
dad.
it on purpose.
Yeah. So yeah, I like what you're doing. I think it adds so much value, and I say it over and over again because so many people that we come across or we meet who have loved ones who pass on, and then they're doing some type of GoFundMe because they don't have the resources to even bury their loved one. And so, having something in place and you being able to provide it. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Christina. If you guys need any type of insurance, and I haven't done this but before, but if you need anything, reach out to her. If you're in this financial situation and you're looking for some type of help or support or don't know, who to contact or who to talk to, I mean, her email is in the chat. Reach out to her and get more information about life policy. Oh, so tell me about life policies. So tell me what exactly. All right, we know you do life policies. What else do you do?
So it's all about education of financial literacy. Woo, excuse me. So even just like the difference between a 401k and a pension.
Right.
Do you know the difference?
No.
Would you like me to tell you, Eric?
Yes. Yes, I would.
So a pension is guaranteed, right? They don't offer, jobs don't really offer it now unless you're in the government sector. But it's like if you worked for a job and they say, Eric, if you work for our company for X amount of years, we'll give you X amount of money upon your retirement per month, right?
Yeah.
But your 401k is like putting your money into the casino.
Yeah.
You could make a lot of money and lose a lot of money all in the same way. But the thing is like just a couple months ago when COVID started, I looked at my 401k. I don't know if you guys have one, but I lost $14,000 and it wasn't even my fault. I didn't do anything, but because of the market, I lost $14,000. But being of my age, I have time to kind of make money in that way, or I have time before retirement basically. But what about somebody who's supposed to be retiring this year or next year or 2 years from now? They didn't plan to have COVID happen and take, a dip of like even 35% is what it lost in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So just educating people about different things like that so they can think, okay, maybe I shouldn't just do a 401k and rely on that. What other things are out there? So
diversifying. Did you say diversify?
Oh, I thought you did.
Oh yeah, I did, but I didn't hear what you said. I thought you said the same thing. But yeah, and so yeah, I have a pension, and so pensions are good to me.
Yeah, they're good.
I mean, but you're right. Who would have expected COVID? No one knew, right?
No.
So how do you secure your financial situation like a 401k so that it doesn't drop 30%?
So there are ways, and that's how when we educate them, we also meet with them to do a financial picture, a financial analysis, so that we can kind of look at and see what they already have in place or what they don't have in place, and make recommendations in those ways. So not everybody has the same financial fingerprint. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, depending on your family size, your age, it will be different. And so it's hard to just say, well, there's all of these. This is what's going to work for you, Eric. It's more of just sitting down one-on-one and really discovering, what you have going on to find what's going to be best for you. And again, that's that benefit of hanging our license with WFG, because we can say, okay, this will work for you and this will work for you, but Linda, you're going to need this, this, and this. So
So it's pretty much customizing each family with their to meet their needs.
yes, because if I just worked for that Bank X, I can only provide the services and products of Bank X.
Right.
Yeah.
Here, I can try to find the best thing for you.
Cool.
That's good stuff. That is.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to make an appointment with you. I need to get my stuff in order, and I think it's important. And so you'll be hearing from me again.
Just to listen, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, you don't.
Exactly.
I have a question, another one. And I'm just looking at the chat, and there's so many people that are talking about one a day. You share a little bit about that?
So one a day is our brokerage team that I mentioned here in Tracy on 11th Street. And our Irvin Samsu, so that's who I am under. That is my team. And like I said, I can't see the chat, but that is, I'm telling you, the support that we have, the love that's there. Everybody lifts everybody up. So I don't know if you guys have heard of WAR, but we all rise, and we all, we are all for the same mission as far as just educating the underserved. So we have a great presentation when we are teaching out there, and there's no gimmick, there's no salesy, nothing. We're just trying to teach people a different way of thinking with their money. Some people don't even know, like, the 3 strategies of money. What are you supposed to do with it? And a lot of people say spend, but no, spend is not one of the answers. But yes, there's lots of love from our one a day team and support. And we do that with our kids when they were graduating high school and in 5th grade. And so that's my team. That's my family right there.
All right. That's great.
You have a lot of support from them. They are just on the
Team one a day,
Yes.
y'all bomb.
That's
Make
what
it
they're
happen.
saying. Yes.
I like the support, and also, having the support around you and the resources that you need, right? I mean, I'm just looking at the chat. You got a bunch of people who are supporting you, who believe in you, who are lifting you up, and you're, I'm sure, doing the same thing. And this is what it takes, right? This is what it takes for entrepreneurs, people who want to start businesses, people who maybe don't know where to go, how to get started, and it only costs you $100 to get started. And you're helping people by educating them with financial literacy. That is the bomb.
Yes. I'm so proud
I
of
like
you.
it. I like it.
Thank you.
Yes. So, as we wrap up, what would you leave with the listeners out there, or what would you tell them? Anything inspiring, something encouraging that will help our listeners to maybe even take that next step in entrepreneurship?
I will say, like we were talking about, a support system is great. I can't imagine doing this on your own, because a lot of people, even those close to you, will kind of sit back and just see how you do. They're not as supportive as the one a day team, where they just want to give it a couple of time, a couple of months, years before they partake in what you're doing. So the support system is big, even having someone like my husband there on the back end for just the listening ear, but also to get a financial checkup. If it's not with me, if there's another financial coach that you know out there, and take a look at what you have. And are you protected? With COVID out there? We don't know. And, we don't know what the effects are afterwards, what it will be. So to really look for the protection of your family, and looking into, do you know what a will and a trust is? If you have kids, oh my gosh, you don't want the government being the ones to say who's going to be able to have your kids. So definitely put that in place, so that now that you're still here, if something happens to you, because nobody waits to have a car accident and then says, oh my gosh, I need to have car insurance, right? I mean, we get car insurance for the fact of we're covered if something happens. Well,
Yes.
unfortunately, we're all gonna pass at some time, and we have to plan and be prepared. I'd hate to leave the financial burden on my kids and on my husband. So get a financial checkup. Contact a one-a-day coach and just hear and listen to what we have to say. Again, it doesn't cost anything. It's a fun experience. The one-a-day experience is fun and educating, and it could be life changing. You know, if you're looking for change, maybe even consider being a financial coach yourself and helping others.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's really good.
that is, you know,
Dropping these gems today.
yeah.
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah,
That
we
is
need to
great.
get you out here to teach a class to our members, and you know what? I don't know how we can do it. Maybe through Zoom, or we have a large enough space to do social distancing and doing an educational seminar on finances. So
Would love
we'd
to.
love for you to,
Partner up,
yes, come out here and
collaborate.
teach
All right. Well, thank you, Christina, so much. You did a wonderful job. I am so excited about what you're doing and how you're changing lives. I'm excited about, I'm not really excited, but it's good that you were able to fire your boss and be home and make your own schedules and not have to ask for, vacation. You have to ask to go see your kid
I
before
know.
a vacation. I mean, those are huge pieces that add so much value to being an entrepreneur. I mean, it's sacrificing. It takes a lot of hard work, but you're an example of how it can be done. And so thank you for
You.
being part of our show. And, I just want to say thanks again. And I hope some people, if you guys want to reach out to her, her email is in the chat, her Instagram. She's having a live webinar tonight. If you want to reach out to her, she can get you more information on that. So we'll see you back on Tuesday. Our live shows are Tuesday and Thursdays. This month, minority women entrepreneurs, to add some value to your life. Other women, reach out. Let's see you come back on Tuesday. Everyone have a great evening or afternoon.
people. Yeah. All
Bye.
right.